My wife is a holistic health counselor, so I am generally slow to put controlled substances in my body. But I have also had to rely on medicines, medications, and the advice of doctors throughout my adult life. I think I've been very lucky to be able to find the time and the headspace to do the research uh, into the substances that I'm putting in my body before I make those decisions, though. And I think this is something that we touched on a little earlier: is that is it is it fair to ask Americans to take more responsibility for the drugs that they put in their bodies when we have a story like Dopesick, which demonstrates that the bodies that are in place to keep us safe sometimes fail in that regard, and that the pharmaceutical companies that are here to sell us drugs to fix us and make us feel better sometimes are, well, a lot of the times are just kind of more concerned with the bottom line, with profit. Is it fair to ask Americans to take that level of responsibility on? And I think the answer to the question is, it's imperative that we find the time. It's imperative that we take ownership over our bodies and our health, because the government is fallible and pharmaceutical companies are governed by the bottom line.
I think, I mean, obviously, you want a good relationship with your physician. And one of the things that's really broke in this country is we don't all have the same access to affordable healthcare. And I remember I was doing this show years ago where I played an assistant to a senator. And I said, I need an issue that's not controversial that this person's pushing. And I said, I'm thinking about like universal health care for children, like children, like kids. She was like, no, 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 no. That doesn't get more controversial than that, because not my kid, it's your kid, and this just the idea of all this also going back to the broken healthcare system that we have in the country, in this old relationship that we all need to find again between yourself and that physician that you trust, because then that person can do all the research for you, because the internet is a dangerous place, of course, where you could learn that anything is bad for you or anything that's good for you. So I think that a lot of this goes back to that kind of broken relationship.
Yeah, and just one more thing to touch there. I had some surgery last year and beginning of this year, and was prescribed painkillers that were, similar to the ones in this show. And going into that already, just because of the heightened awareness from, good reporting and the real life people that Peter and John and I are portraying, it's hard work. Already I went into it with the stigma shifting from addicts that are, take this medication and then get addicted, to the stigma being more on the medication. Like, I was acutely aware of getting medicine that if I wasn't careful with it on my own, I could start to depend on it, rely on it. And I think that, having the injustice start to permeate the zeitgeist and more people talk about it, shows like this, documentaries, and just the actual prosecution of Purdue Pharma. The more that happens, I think it will be less incumbent on people to do research, because you'll hear enough of like, oh, that's out to get me. I got to be careful, and
Yeah.
and hope, that was one of the things I think that, is a added just kind of bonus of being involved with a story like this, is I kind of saw that working in real time, that, now I had a thought about it when I get prescribed the medication, specifically a painkiller. My first thought is, I better be careful with this. Not if it came from a doctor, I can follow the instructions, but I better be careful with this. This is dangerous,
It seems like it was an untold story. What do you guys hope for, John?
Well, it deals, our part of the story deals with a part of the country that I come from. I'm from North Carolina, and I feel like there are a lot of people here who have been maligned in service of pharmaceutical profits. And so setting that record straight and kind of giving giving viewers of the show the opportunity to see themselves portrayed falling prey to opioid addiction is something that I think is very, very important. When you see victims as not being that far removed from your own life experience, you're able to sort of internalize the problem and take it more seriously. And as Jake pointed out, if you do find yourself suffering from a back injury or recuperating from a surgery and you're prescribed these drugs, you will know to proceed with caution. And if Dopesick plays a part in waking people up to that, we will have done our work.
That's right. I mean, I just recently, I was just thinking of this. I had a very minor surgery, and afterwards, the doctor actually told me, I'm going to prescribe you some ibuprofen, and I'll also give you some fun stuff. And so, I think none of us, I think somehow still, even doctors, some doctors are not really taking it seriously. I mean, it could have been then, and whether or not, how much pain you personally can deal with is obviously up to you. I think that we all have to examine our relationship with pain. But on the other hand, it's like doctors should be saying, okay, you call me if you have like really, really, really hard time, and I will talk you through how to take something that might help you, maybe, or try any number of other things first. But somehow, even with all of this, it's almost impossible for me to understand, because I feel like we all kind of know, but the fun stuff is not the way to talk to a patient about it.